Welcome back to A Coach's Perspective, our look at Barack Obama's new book, A Promised Land. We are looking at Chapter 2 today, at least we're discussing Chapter 2 today. Chapter 2 is very interesting because Chapter 2 introduces family. A lot of in Chapter 2 he talks about his early work and his getting into politics, but really I think this chapter is the first part where you as a leader have to decide, what am I going to do that I think is best for my exterior family as opposed to what I believe is best for my interior family? How do I keep home and the home family happy and safe and all of those things that we want to do as men and as leaders of our own homes, but then also how do we lead externally and continue to work towards the goals and ambitions that we have for our own life. I think that President Obama found himself in a situation where he had a star that was moving. He was appointed to the state Senate. He was trying to get things done. Being in the state Senate meant he had to spend time away from the family, and in dealing with this, what people would consider to be smaller time politics, because it's the state politics, but most of us realize now that the state politics are where a lot of the things that affect you and I on a daily basis happen, versus what was going on at home, where it was him and the wife, then it was him and the wife and a kid, then it was him and the wife and a couple kids. And I think what really struck me once is in the book he says that Michelle at one point in time told him, I feel like I'm doing this by myself, or if I feel like I'm doing this alone, and that's not what she signed up for. I can't speak for myself because I'm not married, but I have been in relationships where it takes some understanding to get how unavailable I can be during football season, especially. But even then, not understanding why I don't have an abundance of time once football season's over with. And so then it becomes on us as coaches. And I've spoken to many coaches who have been married for years and talked about how they were able to balance work and life, and their passion and their love for coaching and teaching and influencing young men and young women versus their passion and love and joy of their family. Some have an understanding where their wife just realizes, you know what, from this part of the year to this part of the year, I'm just not going to see that much of my husband. Then there are other coaches who say, you know what, it doesn't matter what I have going on, even if it's this time of year to this time of the year, I'm going to make a way to have this relationship that I know I need with family. So if that means I have to say, hey, coach, you have to handle this because I have to go to a recital, or hey, coaches, we're getting out today at this time so that you can all go and be with your families, that's what I have to do. I think myself as a leader, I've always been cognizant of family and the family dynamic and not wanting to make home unhappy, not because I was worried about it necessarily for myself, but because I understood it was so important to trying to keep a healthy home, which meant a healthy family. And I'm all for healthy families, even if I don't have like a stay-at-home family myself. I've always wanted coaches to never feel overwhelmed by the game. It's a reason why I believe in the certain principles and things that I do as a coach. And it struck me watching President Obama work this out through his memoirs and how he was able. So he started off, he wasn't being a very good dad and husband in his mind, at least my interpretation of the way he saw it. And he started to try to do more. And he hopes that his wife, he hopes that she recognized it. And clearly, I mean, obviously she did. They were able to work through it. But in that time, he was still achieving and working towards his dream. One of the second things that I took, the more even just as striking. I won't say more because I think the family component was the big part of this chapter in chapter 2. I think the thing that was just as apparent is when he went into doing the things that he needed to do in order to achieve, he kind of had to compromise on some of the things that he thought he would hold sacred. You know, like how he was able to win his seat in the state Senate from the woman who, you know, who recommended him because she was going for another seat in another at a higher level, and she had said she was done, and then all of a sudden came back, and he was essentially able to win because his team found out that so many other people had put in their their forms incorrectly. It's kind of a way to win, and even he says it wasn't the way he wanted to win. It wasn't kind of how he wanted to do it, but he got it done. The other thing that he that I think was interesting is when he was knocked down a peg when he ran for Congress, and he was going up against a congressman that he thought he was better than, who he thought wasn't very good at his job, but who had tremendous name recognition in the city, or at least in the area, and he got trounced because he couldn't, in my opinion, reading the book, he couldn't read the room. Black man versus a black man. A black man who's well known versus a black man who's not well known, who has a funny name, and doesn't talk anything like the black men that he's asking to support him. I think that he also realized, and he says as much in the book, at that point in time, I wasn't a very good politician. That's something that's hard to say. That's difficult to stomach. But as coaches, hasn't there always been a point in our development where we stop and say, you know what? I'm just not very good at what I'm doing. I need to get better. And what we do as coaches, as leaders, we go and seek out how to get better. We go and seek out the knowledge that we need. We read books like this in order to see what other people do. And I think that that's what President Obama did. He kind of probably went back into his workhouse and mentally and emotionally, and figured out what he needed to be better at his job going forward. Definitely one of the things that I thought stood out in this chapter. So some really good information about family, really good information about who we are as leaders, and when we have to check ourselves that we may not be reaching the ideals that we believe that we should be reaching. I look forward to talking with you about Chapter 3. Again, this has been Coach Gene Clemens. Like or follow the channel. Make sure that you see our past episodes on these chapters of the books. Barack Obama's A Promised Land. Check us out for Chapter 3. Y'all have a great day.